Good morning. My name is Julian. I'm the owner and CEO of Medusa Coffee Company, and today I would love to show you how to properly prepare your coffee using a French press. Some of the items that you would need today would be obviously a French press machine. You will also be needing a freshly roasted coffee and a grinder. If you don't have a grinder, I suggest that you visit our website at www.goldenroostercoffee.com and purchase any coffee that you would like, and just make sure to select a coarse grind, and we'll make sure we ship that directly to your residence. Also, something that folks fail to realize is that the quality of water that you use will affect the final taste of your coffee, so make sure that you're grabbing a high quality water out of the store, or make sure you use filtered water at home. If you don't have a scale at home, I highly recommend that you purchase one. It's one of those things that's going to make a world of difference when it comes to making great quality coffee. What I've learned that works best for this coffee is to use a 1:18 ratio, meaning 1 part coffee, 18 parts water. So right now it looks like we have 904 grams of water. What we'll do is we'll divide that number by 18, which gives us 50, which is the total amount of grams that we'll be using for our French press. So while our water boils, I want to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about our natural processed coffee. So normally what happens is the cherry from the coffee bean gets washed away during normal processing. With natural processing, there's hardly any water used at all, if any water actually. So what happens is that the cherry is left on the bean for about 120 days, and it rotates in the sun, and it gives the bean an opportunity for it to kind of absorb some of those juices from the mucilage and the cherry itself, giving it a completely different profile than your regular washed coffee. And as a matter of fact, that natural process is how it was done before industrialization and the need for high quantities of coffees to be processed. So it's pretty interesting, and the taste is just out of this world. I really enjoy the natural processed coffee, and especially in a French press. Now that our water has finished boiling, we want to let it sit for no more than 30 seconds. That gives us enough time to load the beans into the hopper, set our grinder to its highest setting, which is going to give us a nice and consistent coarse grind. Now that our grinder has stopped, we want to go ahead and remove the container from the grinder, ensuring that it is in fact a coarse grind. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but it is a coarse grind, very similar to what you would see in coarse sea salt. The very next step in the French press making process is you want to, of course, load all of the grounds into the French press itself, but you want to make sure that you are expelling any CO2 that's in the coffee grounds, because it will affect your final taste of the coffee. And how we're going to do that is we're going to fill about I'll say a 1/4 inch of water above the grounds. That way the grounds can absorb some of the water and expel some of the CO2, and we're only going to leave it for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're going to go ahead and dump the rest of the water in. Now that the CO2 has been expelled from the coffee grounds, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and dump the rest of the water into the French press. But before we do that, I've went ahead and prepared a 4-minute timer that's going to give us the total amount of time that we want to keep the water in contact with the coffee grounds. We will now go ahead and start our timer. So one thing that I did forget to mention is you want to make sure that you place the cover on the French press in order to conserve the heat. And then obviously you want to make sure that you complete the 4 minutes, and then you want to press slowly. Another pro tip that I thought I would mention would be that you don't want to pour all of the coffee into one cup at a time. If you have the opportunity to share coffee with someone or pouring more than one cup of coffee, make sure that you rotate from cup to cup so that not one person receives all of the sediment. For example, you don't want to pour someone just the top of the French press, or someone just the bottom of the French press. You want to make sure they all get equal parts of the French press. That way, they get the full experience. Now that we have served our coffee, please make sure to pour the rest of the coffee into a separate container. Contact between water and the coffee grounds will continue the extraction process, resulting in an undesirable cup. If you'd like to know more or have any questions, please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to visit us in person at the Mount Holly and Gastonia farmers markets between the months of April and October. You can also find us online at goldmedusacoffee.com, walmart.com, and now marketwagon.com. Until the next time, be kind, be generous, and remember, the best conversations are always enjoyed best with a great cup of coffee.
Gold Medusa Coffee Company, excellence in every cup.